Welcome to this explainer. Right, let's dive straight in. The Galway West election is laying bare a really harsh reality for working families here in Ireland. Let's look at the numbers. 17. That is the exact number of candidates battling it out right now for the constituency's 5th dial seat. They're out pounding the pavements, day in, day out, trying to secure every last preference with just a fortnight to go until polling day on May 22nd. This sheer volume of canvassing gives us a brilliant, unfiltered picture of the national mood. Section 1. The Galway West Battleground. When you break down what people are actually saying on the doors, the data is just incredibly clear. The cost of living is absolutely eclipsing everything else. It is the massive, undeniable issue. Following right behind is the severe housing shortage, and then transport and the daily gridlock. Everything else, even massive traditional issues like healthcare, they're taking a total backseat to this immediate financial squeeze. Moving on to Section 2, the cost of living squeeze. Step by step, the financial pressures are just stacking up on ordinary workers. First off, older folks are genuinely terrified to turn on the heat. Then you've got parents absolutely stressed to the gills over the rising price of the basic weekly shop. Add to that, electricity bills are seeing massive, frightening spikes. And finally, people are reporting these eye-watering jumps in their annual insurance premiums. It's just a relentless barrage of costs, plain and simple. And that brings us to a really telling phrase candidates are hearing time and time again on the canvas. Voters are well and truly feeling the pinch in their pockets. Now, the reception on the doors is generally very polite, which is a sharp contrast to the toxicity you'd see online. But make no mistake, the underlying anxiety is massive. People are hurting. The big challenge for candidates isn't selling some grand long-term vision. It's proving they can actually fix this immediate, everyday pain. Which brings us to Section 3, the Great Housing Divide. This brilliantly illustrates the tale of two Galways. It's a stark divide. On the one hand, you have the booming tourist mecca. I mean, it's a gorgeous part of the world, but that economic spin-off has resulted in a massive glut of highly profitable short-term rentals. And on the other hand, the grim local reality. That tourist boom has wreaked absolute havoc on the local housing market, leading to a damaging decline in long-term properties for students, workers, and families just trying to build their lives there. The human cost of this divide is incredibly severe. The source material highlights this directly, with candidates reporting heartbreaking stories of individuals and families literally facing homelessness. And the whole thing is being compounded by a wave of landlords who are just deciding to sell up and leave the market entirely following the introduction of new regulations earlier this year. So between bloating rents, a severe lack of affordable or social housing, and a shrinking private rental sector, well, families are being pushed to the absolute brink. Section 4. Left behind. Payee workers. There is serious growing discontent among payee workers out there, the working taxpayers who feel completely and utterly left behind. They're expressing a deep unease at these relentless cost increases, specifically pointing out a distinct lack of state support for their sector in recent months. Interestingly enough, single-issue flashpoints from the past, like the fuel protests, they're fading. The anger right now is a broad, exhausting frustration from the squeezed middle, who feel like they're carrying the can for everyone else without getting a tap of help themselves. Section 5. Gridlock and slow progress. Now, daily gridlock is a massive bone of contention in Galway, but the true frustration lies in the absolutely glacial pace of progress. Look at this. Voters have been waiting literally decades for promised public hospital enhancements. Decades. They're waiting years for land development agency housing projects to materialize, and months for slow-moving plans like bus connects and the Oranmore Galway rail improvements. The only recent bright spot is the approval of the Galway City Ring Road. But overall, this substandard infrastructure just makes the daily grind for the working family that much harder. So, with the dial vote looming and candidates making their final pitches, the absolute crucial point is this. Will this intense pressure cooker of a housing crisis, compounding bills, and infrastructural delays actually change how people vote? Or will the local political landscape stay exactly the same? The frustrations are absolutely boiling over on the doors, but how that anger manifests itself on the ballot paper on May 22nd, well, that's the ultimate question. It's a fascinating look at the realities of modern Ireland. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you on the next one.